So I stupidly procrastinated even listening to this until like yesterday afternoon because I was getting a bunch of work done, and I'm like, how hard can it be? And I thought maybe it would be that title track that like everybody knows from Instagram.
Oh yeah.
So I'm like, I
Time
probably
Machine.
know it. Yeah. And then I finally start listening at like 1 p.m. I'm like, fuck. Like, I have a bunch of errands to do.
Yeah.
I'm probably only going to have an hour to shove this.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, like, I made the maybe stupid decision not to write it down, which I don't know if that was good or bad. Listening to the tune, it felt like you guys were working from charts, though, right?
Mm-mm.
Oh. Fuck, yeah.
I mean, it was
memorize that shit.
a lot of bouncing MIDI files back and forth. And then we just kept sending each other demos, like, what do you think about this bass? What do you think about this drum beat?
Yeah.
Until we all solidified something where we're all going to do individually until it came together and recorded it.
Yeah. I think the thing that made me think it was a chart was just sort of the theme and variation stuff, where it's like, oh, they got clever. There's an extra hit there.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this third time the A section comes through, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's catch him off guard. And so I was just like, oh yeah, that's some chart shit.
Nah,
that's
dude,
like
that
measure 44. We're gonna put a hat accent over that.
Well, I don't know, man. Like, even I don't know what's more time consuming, charting it out and running it down until we get it perfect, or the way we actually do it, which is when we send demos back and forth. Like, I'll literally work on 4 bars for an hour straight.
Yeah.
Like, come up with a different hit, come up with 99 different grooves.
Yeah.
And like see how much that same groove can develop on different parts of the song as the song progresses.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically what you got was the finished product of just me looping 4 to 8 bars at a time for several hours.
That makes sense.
So we got together. So that's probably why it sounds charted out, you know?
Yeah, it also feels like it was written around the drums. Just because like so many of those dotted quarter rhythms and like they just lie really well to do like fusion fills around.
Yeah. Dude, surprisingly enough, my friend Sean wrote those hits, like the chord hits and stuff.
Oh, nice.
And I was just trying to play around it, like the I'm like doing you know,
yeah,
just very Sean when Sean writes, he writes specifically with me in mind, and that's why our friendship is so amazing.
Yeah, he knows you're playing pretty well.
Yeah, I know his.
Yeah, I wish if I'd had a couple more days with it, I feel like maybe I could have gotten inside it enough to do some of the more intricate things. Because listening to you play over it, the way you sort of did implied beat turnarounds, you know what I mean? Like instead of just playing the 8th off beats, you literally like turned the beat around so that was oriented toward the downbeat.
Yeah. Well, you nailed it.
Yeah, but I was just like and 2 and 3 and 4 and.
Yeah. I got you.
Well, I should ask, like, you know, as the player on the record, like, what advice would you give me if I were playing this on a gig and I wanted to take it to the next level? If this was like a rehearsal 1 week before the recording session, and say you're the producer and you've got like a certain sound in mind, which is kind of realistic because you played over it. Like, what advice would you give me?
Kind of like how I approached it is, you know, loop each section for as long as you want, like on your own time, obviously not in studio time when you're burning a bunch of money, but you like get the music as early as you can and loop, you know, the first A section and come up with like 99 to 100 different grooves and send them out to your boys. Like, it doesn't have to be a whole GarageBand file. Just send them a little snippet of audio of like, what do you guys think about this groove? We made this record pretty much on Snapchat. What do you think about this groove? until it's time to get together and play. And I'm like, oh, I like that one. Hey, this one. No, this one. And do it with all the sections.
Yeah. I mean, that was sort of how I learned it yesterday, except on a much shorter time span. So it'd be like 20 total reps through the A section. I'm like, okay, I have like a very, very basic outline of that, enough to fake it.
Yeah.
Time's are wasting. Let's move on to the bridge. Yeah.
And you know, coming from the jazz background like you, I kind of got sick of the notion where everything has to be like not half-assed, but just totally, all right, we show up, record, boom, there's a record. Like, I like taking time to make art.
Yeah.
You know? I like that.
It feels like, yeah. So that's something that's changed a bunch since I first moved to New York, is you go to the 55 bar and you'd see people sight read songs.
Yeah.
And like, that was a vibe. Okay, that was cool. And also, if it's like Adam Rogers and Brian Blade, like, that's a different experience than watching me try to sight read something. But I think more and more of the sort of self-made bands, whether it's Kneebody or JD Beck or Snarky Puppy, it seems like they all learn the songs really deeply. So even if they have charts, like, they're playing at a level where they could play from memory. And I think you definitely get, like, I don't think you get a Kneebody record if they're just sight reading all the songs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or maybe you do now because they know each other so well. But I don't think they just walk in day one and you put the charts down and it sounds like that.
Do you find that, like, watching let's say you go to, I don't know, a local club and there's a band playing, do you find it more enjoyable to listen while they're reading music?
Well, it gets old fast.
It gets old fast.
Yeah, it's interesting for maybe like one gig or one half of one gig because it's like, ooh, let's see how they handle that.
I guess it also depends on who it is. Like, I saw Eric Harland sight read something.
Right, and then it
was fucking
amazing.
Yeah. Like, whoa, you know.
What gig was that, by the way?
It was on YouTube.
Okay.
He was like playing with Chris Potter.
Okay.
And it was at Smalls, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw him play with Adam Rogers and I think Patitucci in a trio in like 2003. Like, Obed Calvera and I went down because Obed was like, you have to check out this guy, Eric Harland.
Oh, really?
and so we went and then just like onslaught, like, you know, like hair.
Yeah.
Back, yeah.
I saw him for the first time in Miami like last year or 2 years ago, playing with Taylor Ikesty. I can't remember who was on bass, but it was so killing, dude. It's like all in my face.
Yeah.
I love it.
So yeah, certain people sight reading is fun.
Yeah.
But I think, like, if I have a band, we'll try to learn the songs well. By the way, like, one thing I've been thinking, like, with all these solo artists, like, starting bands and starting killing bands, is like, fuck, I probably have to start a band.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, it might be time to come out of the practice room hibernation.
Practice room hibernation.
Do some IRL.
Yeah, man. I miss groups. You know, it's like, I'm tired of all these. Can you be here Friday? Like, we need to fill in for drums, or can you? Like, I'm tired of these pickup gigs. Not that there's anything wrong with that. You know, that's what I grew up doing.
Is that a big thing in Memphis?
Pickup?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Say, hey, can you make this? And which is cool. It's a great way to network and connect. But I don't know. We just don't hear enough about bands anymore.
It seems like
at least in the jazz world.
Right.
I mean, let me
right.
reframe.
Yeah. In a way, though, for the people who break through, you're hearing more of it because it's less. Like, when was the last time so and so quartet got famous?
Yeah.
2010, maybe. Like, it's so that whole idea of like a single leader who just hires an ad hoc band for a session. It doesn't seem like, maybe that's happening, but it doesn't seem like those are the records that are rising to the top.
Yeah.
It seems like collaborations are like a bigger thing.
Yeah.
Which is cool because you don't have to pay everybody.
Yeah, true.
Cut that.
I also like going to shows and knowing who I'm going to listen to, because I'm not just paying for Branford Marsalis quartet, but I know Branford has played with the same three guys for a while now. Before Justin Faulkner, it was Tain, right? And I know I'm paying to see Justin Faulkner, Eric Rivez, and Joey Colarazzo, not just Branford Marsalis and the Branford Marsalis quartet.
So who were your favorite jazz drummers when you were learning to play?
Number one was probably Jeb Tain Watts. Just a big influence. And I worked backwards from there. And then I hit Elvin Jones. I had a big Elvin Jones phase. Brian Blade, obviously. Eric Harland, huge influence. Those are probably my top guys when it comes to jazz drumming. And it's mostly because the first time I ever saw Jeff Tain Watts was also the first time I realized, you know, when you're playing jazz, you don't have to play like a pussy. You know what I'm saying?
And then subsequently watching Elvin, you were like, oh yeah, he was onto that too.
Yeah. It was like, this is the first time I've ever seen somebody bashing in jazz. You know, it was more than just I'm bashing and I got all these chops. It was like an attitude thing. And I like that. It's like, man, fuck this system. Bang, bang, bang. I love that shit, you know?
Yeah. So many great Tain-isms in drumming. And I feel like he's probably going to go through a renaissance because it's like there have been a few generations since him. There's been enough for the cycle to like repeat itself and people to start checking out Tain. I mean, obviously Justin Faulkner's checked out a ton of Tain.
Yeah.
Were you into that record Bloomington, the live trio record from University of Indiana?
No.
Okay. That's in my opinion like the best Tain record
really
of all time.
Bloomington?
Yeah, or maybe it's Bloomingdale. No, it's Bloomington. It's for sure Bloomington.
Okay,
Bloomingdale is a department store.
Who is it?
It's Branford, Tain, and Robert Hurst. Just as a trio.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Robert Hurst. There's a similar trio, although I'm not sure if it's Robert Hurst on bass. It's called Trio GP.
that's a good one.
I love James playing on there. I could probably sing all of those solos.
Yeah, I feel like Trio GP is after GPT-4, right? Then it'll be Trio GPT.
Yeah. Nice, dude.
Here all week, you guys.
Nice.
My brain just does this. I think once you turn 40, the dad pun muscle just starts flexing.
Nice. What about you? I'm curious. Wait, what if I could guess your top jazz influence?
Oh, go.
You think I could guess?
I wouldn't have guessed Tain with you, so sometimes it's counterintuitive. But yeah, what do you think?
Is he like super like one of the or is like some obscure guy? Is he like one of the famous guys?
Well, you're not going to go wrong with famous. I mean, I'm sure everybody's got a couple obscure, but no, I think my main influences would not be someone you'd never heard of.
Oh, okay. Main influences, Tony Williams?
For sure, although not super directly, but
Okay.
just sort of for inspiration, yeah.
Okay, cool. Did we have any of the same ones? Are you guys dead or alive?
A lot of them are alive.
A lot of them are alive?
Yeah, we have some overlap, for sure.
Okay. You got it like Eric Harland.
Of course.
Louis Nash?
I like Louis. Louis wasn't one of my guys that I'm like, I'm going to change my playing because of him.
I'm getting all these wrong.
Interesting, Louis. So, I think, oh God, I love Louis. I'm not gonna get in trouble. Louis is deep. He's obviously super heavy. The guy who resonated with me more at that age was Hutchinson.
I was just gonna say Hutch. I'm not even bullshit.
I love his drumming. I love him as a person. Yeah, just. But he and Blade, and maybe Clarence Penn in like the early 2000s era. It's sort of just pre-Harland when Harland came in and blew everything up. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Hutch has a great feel. Like one of my favorite, like especially when in the swing style, one of my go-to references for that. Like when I forget how to swing, I'm like, all right, let me listen to some Hutch.
So good,
walk
right?
the dog. You ever seen that clinic?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I've probably watched that thing like 20 times in college.
Yeah, it's great. I think the last single player that blew my mind so much I completely retrofitted my playing though was Marcus
Gilmore.
Yeah. Like for a few years there was so much of his stuff and my stuff that I worried like everybody would just think I was ripping him off.
Yeah.
So what about I'm super fascinated by just like jazz hybrids, like people who are fluent in both jazz and like backbeat music. So like you're one, Justin Brown is one. There are a few other guys, but like, what do you think about your sort of musical diet when you were coming up? Made you sort of bilingual in that regard, like equally good at jazz and then backbeat music.
I don't know. I think it is. You have to turn on a switch. Definitely, like when you play jazz, you have to really play jazz. And I think my thing, especially when I was just starting out, I was always obsessed with the actual way the drum feels when you strike it and the cymbals. I know it's a
jazz.
weird thing to say.
It's an extremely jazz thing.
Extremely jazz. Yeah. Even though when I first started playing, I wasn't playing jazz. I was playing like real pocket heavy stuff, but like I was just obsessed with the way the drum felt when I struck it. So when it came to going to that jazz world, and my professors telling me, you know, touch is a very important thing. You gotta do. I was already on that. I was like, dude, I love the way, you know, I can do this shit all
hold
day.
My beer.
Yeah, hold my beer. You know, and versus in metal and stuff, it's like bashing. Bah, bah. I just had a metal lesson not too long ago.
I saw that.
He was telling me you got to like tense up on purpose to tire yourself out, like to warm up. I'm like, what the hell? Because in jazz, it's like about the finesse of the wrist, or I guess it depends on how you play or whatever.
Yeah.
But in that music, it's like very But yeah. So, and then when I play, you know, pocket stuff, it's just turning on a different switch.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard to turn off the jazz switch.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just because I haven't played someone else's music for money in like a decade. Mm-hmm. So I can kind of sit in the ivory tower and be like, well, what's really the boundary between jazz and I'm sure if like I was on a paying gig, they'd be like, stop the jazz.
Yeah.
It's a no jazz zone. What about the metal thing? Like, is that a gag or is that like a sincere new obsession?
I will say half and half. I wish I had time to really dive into it and become a great metal drummer. But a lot of my fans ask me to do more metal stuff or try metal. So, and if I have a free day, I'm like, fuck it, let me get double bass pedals, make a metal video. But for the most part, I'm extremely lucky to play music that I like to play, and get money and make money from it. I'm one of the last guys that can do that. Not a lot of money. Let's not get it twisted. But it really is. My biggest dream was I always wanted to play music that I enjoy playing with guys that I enjoy playing with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
that's literally what I've been striving for.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little older than you.
Yeah.
So I might have been one of the last of the people who came up when we still had the illusion that like you're going to join a band and get on a label and like that's going to take care of you. And even if I'd been good enough, I realized about 2010, 2011, like there wasn't actually any money in that. So the sea change that I saw like in the early 2010s was people realizing, well, we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. So we might as well do our own thing. Mm-hmm. And now I think that's just in the DNA. So it's like young artists coming up now. They're like, well, obviously I'm going to play what I want because there's no money in any of this anyway. So I might as well play what I want. And then ironically, that's how people tend to actually have careers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think a lot of guys in school, they really need to start learning how to use a computer. You know, I've met too many guys graduating just this year that don't even know what GarageBand is or video editing. But it really is getting to a point where you can't just, graduate music school and hop on a gig instantly. Like it used to be where all you had to do was be good at your instrument. But now you got to have so many different skills, and it's better to dive in early rather than later.
Yeah.
Well,
since you brought that up, I think the other thing that from my vantage point was unique about you is like your filmmaking chops and your sense of humor. Mm. So it's like you sort of, I don't want to say fell into, but it's like you ended up in a context where people were thirsty for entertaining videos about music. You had chops, you had great comedic timing, and then like you were able to just put together a video. And of course, like your video production has gotten better over the years, but like, what do you credit the latter to like the comedic chops and just like the ability to make videos?
just diving right into it.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't know how to use a video editing software. I was already kind of goofy and weird. I figured some people would appreciate. I would have a few people that would be the same way, goofy and weird, and just happen to play drums. But I just dove right in.
What did you come up watching?
Yeah,
so like video wise.
Yeah.
Like what was maybe rattling around in your head as you were making those first videos?
I'll tell you, nothing drum related. I like Nelk Boys. You
Okay.
ever heard of them?
Yes.
Like prank channels.
Yes.
The first time I started a channel, I literally just did it for money because COVID happened.
Yeah.
And I had no more gigs. I blew all my money from my last gig. Yeah. And I wanted like 2 or 3 students a week. And it worked for a little bit. I was like, dang, I hate this. I'm not the greatest teacher, and I don't quite have the patience for it. At the time, I didn't. Now I love it. I can do it all day.
Yeah.
But so I said, you know what? Forget it. I'm just gonna live this broke life. And I just turned the camera on and started making like dick jokes, playing the drums. You know, funnily enough, 8020, Mr. Nate Smith, you shared one of my videos. You were the first big YouTuber that shared one of my videos.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
I credit the pop-off COVID thing to you. Because that was when my videos started popping off. When you shared it. It was like a chop that gets you fired.
Oh, yeah.
And I had been watching your channel for years before that. I was like, Dad, 8020 Drummer just shared my video. It was crazy.
I didn't know that, but that's crazy. And come to think of it, I remember that video.
Yeah.
And yeah, of course I would have shared it because like a chop to get you fired, that's pretty much the ultimate video.
Yeah, you shared that video, man. When I first started. And
I'm sure it would have happened either way though.
I don't know. It was just weird timing. After that, like my channel just started taking off.
Yeah.
That was cool. Maybe you inserted me in the algorithm.
Who knows? Yeah. Yeah, I think it would happen one way or the other. But like, yeah, look, like not to blow too much smoke, but I think you kind of raised the level when it came and even changed the game when it came to drum YouTube and music YouTube, because a lot of the channels were kind of insufferable. Like they took themselves too seriously.
Yeah.
And it was definitely time for something else. And like, you know, your shit's fired me up to like continue innovating on my game. Like,
oh, cool.
When stuff was getting a little bit boring, like the entrance of you and a couple other people was like, oh, all right, shit, game on. Like, let's go.
Yeah, that's what it's all about, really. Like I feel like most people that go on YouTube don't really want to sit down for 20 minutes and learn how to play right, left, right, left, right, left, left. Like they want to come home from a hard day and just relax and be entertained. And yes. I know for me, especially in my age now, like when I'm scrolling, yeah, I want to be entertained, but I also kind of want to learn something too. So I'll try to. That's kind of what I try to package my content as. Like if you're not, you know, laughing or being entertained, at least you're learning something.
Yeah, you kind of have to bridge the gap, don't you? Where it has to have enough info in it that like the hardcore drum nerds can like take something out of it, or at least like a cool solo.
Yeah, yeah.
But then like, yeah, a video that's just like, hey, we're going to learn this lick. Like what percentage of people actually want to watch that? Yeah, yeah. You want to watch something that entertains you, totally.
Yeah. You can't just have like, and you know, on the other side, you can't just have 8 minutes of just bullshit. Like, you gotta put something in there where people can get something out of.
You haven't seen my latest video, obviously. Try 22 minutes of bullshit.
Nice. What did you do? It's not the cymbal setup, is it? Oh, okay.
But I do when I'm making a video kind of have in the back of my head, all right, I need to make this 15 to 20 minutes long. I need to find a way to extend the time and still make it entertaining. Yeah. And that's definitely like the algorithm pulling on me, where it's like, yeah, I could probably make a 4-minute, 20-second video. But yeah, you feel the pressure to make it longer. So last question before I'm worried the camera's going to stop on us.
Okay.
What's next for you? You got the band, you got the Clinic Drum Festival schedule, you got the channel. Like, where's this all headed?
Let's see. We got the Drum Festival this week. After that, I have like November, like 3 months of rest, and then we're going on a tour with my band.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, like medium term, like 5-year picture. What's next?
5-year picture.
Yeah. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Honestly, bro, I want to continue to do stuff or things that I love, like travel the world, playing music with my band. Obviously, that's everyone's dream. But I also want like a bunch of kids.
Okay. You're gonna have a traveling family.
Yeah,
the kid's gonna travel the world with you.
I want to have a bunch of drum techs.
I think that's the move. You just got to take it back to like Jackson 5.
Yeah. Honestly, if I could just do that, you know, when I'm home from the road, make dumb videos. I know I probably can't do it forever, but I do enjoy making those dumb skits with Nathan and having everyone live close by. I'm very family oriented, so when I'm home, I try to get as much as I can from the people I love, and I don't know. I just want to continue to play music that I like, you know.
Do you think you'll stay in Memphis?
Nah, I'm already looking at places in Nashville.
Interesting. So the Memphis to Nashville move, is Nashville just more of a scene?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, way more of a scene.
I liked it.
Yeah, and a lot safer. I mean, I guess every place is safe compared to Memphis, but
let's wrap. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ZackGrooves.
Thank you.